Well, hello, JW Strugglers. We are talking with brave Ciaran Morgan today, and that's how she's referred to now in the UK, at least. Uh, and it's been a thrill to meet and chat with her. Ciaran has a story to share, and also she has a goal. She has a message that she wants to help get out about the Watchtower Society and about the damaging policies that they have when it comes to abusers and pedophiles in their midst. Ciaran, recently this court case has been on the news a lot. Wales Online has been covering it. I printed off a copy to share with our viewers. But I just want to thank you for being here and having the courage to speak out.
Yeah, this is a really weird thing because it doesn't actually feel like I've done anything special, if you know what I mean. Because literally all I've done is report somebody for a crime. So it's quite strange when I've had people say, oh yeah, but you're a hero, you're a star, and you're so brave, because it doesn't actually feel that way. Do you know what I mean? It just feels like the right thing to do.
Well, that's because you've got a good heart and you're wanting to work through this. Now, according to the article by Ciaran Jones, he said that this happened, or it mentioned that this happened about 20 years ago, and all this time you've been processing it, you've been working through it, I would assume, and that's part of your healing process.
Yeah, yeah, it was about 25 years ago now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Now, just to catch up some of our viewers on what we're talking about, the article was published on July the 2nd, Wales Online, and it talks about how this man, he used to be a Jehovah's Witness elder. His name is Mark Sewell, 53. He was jailed for 14 years after being found guilty of 8 historic sex charges, including rape, between 1987 and 1995. Now, the article mentioned, Ciaran, that you were there in court every day following this, and what was that like for you?
That was difficult. I was actually called on day one, so I had to be there on day one. But then I wasn't actually needed until day two, and then when I did eventually get on the stand, I was on the stand for pretty much the whole day. Um, it's it's difficult because obviously he was there. He was like if I'm on the stand here, he was in like a glass cage just off to my left. So although I could see him out of the corner of my eye, I would have to physically turn like this to be able to see him. Um, but it's still a difficult thing to do.
That's for sure. Now, the article said that at one point the judge had to admonish him because he was shooting stares and glares in your direction. Is that so?
Oh yeah, he did that all the time. Because what happens is once you've given your evidence, prior to giving my evidence, I was under witness care, it's called over here. So I was kept separate from everybody else. I was downstairs in the witness area. Once you've given evidence and you've been in court, then if you decide you want to stay in court, you're basically just with everybody else. So when we took a break from court, we would all come out of the same door, him included. So we would all come out and then all sit in the same area outside. There's like a little cafeteria thing. So, and every morning when I arrived at court, he would be there, sat there when we all got there. So yeah, it was a weird thing because we were together every single day, but he didn't seem to care. He would stare at me, stared at my dad, he stared at the other victims. He was horrible. But I didn't let it bother me. It was the police officer that was with us who actually said, I'm not having him staring at you anymore. I'm going to say something and do something about it. So it was him who actually did something. I sort of just thought, oh, well, if that's what he wants to do, just leave him to it.
Right. Now, did he have his own little cheering section? Did he have JWs and his family members that were there to support him still?
Do you know what? He didn't have anybody there. nobody came for him until we were in the final week, and it was time for him to have character witnesses. Obviously, his wife was a witness for him. She only came on the day she was given evidence, and then she went straight home again. She didn't stay. And then I think he had about 4 other character witnesses, and they only came on the day they give evidence, and then we didn't see them again. All except for one of them, one guy who, funnily enough, also used to be a Jehovah's Witness and isn't now. He was a character witness to him, and then he did come along for the last day or so, but that was it. But apart from that, he didn't have anyone there for him, which was kind of sad, really.
Yeah, it is. It is. And you, Ciaran, you wanted to do this. You wanted to see this through. Why?
Do you mean the court case?
Yeah, the whole thing.
Well, obviously I've been waiting years and years for some sort of closure on it, if you like. And I'd always thought that he would tell the truth and he would say sorry, and that's what it was all about. That's all I wanted. I didn't want to end up going to court. But obviously because he didn't do that, I felt like I didn't really have any choice anymore, and I would have to persevere and see if I could get it to court and get it finished that way. I think some part of it is because you need closure, but the other part of it, the bigger part, is that obviously the whole time for the last 20 odd years while he's been a Jehovah's Witness, nobody knows what he's done and what he was capable of. So I felt it was important that people find out what he's done, so that he's not a danger to anybody else.
That's a pretty good reason right there. And it takes courage to do that. I mean, that's why the reporter called you brave Ciaran Morgan. I'm going to keep saying that. I love that. Hello, Miss Brave Ciaran Morgan. Now, may I draw? There's something in the article online that really caught my attention, Ciaran. And this is a quote from you. You said, "I've not lost my faith. It's not my faith that's gone. It's my trust in the elders that's gone."
That's when I said that, I really did believe that, and I kind of still do in a way. It was never about is Jehovah real or not. It was always about the elders and the governing body and the organisation. It's never really been about, oh, do I believe the Bible and do I believe Jehovah? So from that point of view, that's what I mean. It's not my faith in the fact that there's a God. It's my faith in the governing body and the elders and how they run that organisation that's gone. Does that make sense?
It makes a ton of sense to me. You know, one thing, when folks get out of a religious cult, which is really what we have done, when we leave the Witnesses or Mormonism or Scientology or whatever it is, a lot of times a person will have an aversion to religion after that because they've had this bad experience. So it's heartening for somebody like you and others among us that can say, well, look, I still believe in God. I'm not going to throw that all away. I just don't believe in this organization or in man like elders being over us, telling us what to do, etc.
That's the thing, and I've said to so many people that before I started this whole process, I was actually praying about it. I was praying for help. I prayed right the way throughout the process. I prayed when I was on the stand, help me to say the right thing, help me to have the courage to do it. So it's been prayers all the way through, and I have felt like my prayers have been answered. Whether other people would think that or not, I don't know. So it isn't about, I've lost faith in everything. It is just that I've lost faith in the hierarchy and how the organisation is run. That's what I've lost faith in.
Makes sense. Now, Ciaran, have you been out of the Witnesses for a while? I mean, or were you attending Kingdom Hall until recently?
Yeah, I was disfellowshipped when I was 17, and I actually started I went to my first assembly just over a year ago. I went to the assembly with my mum. I think you have assemblies there, don't you, where like district convention and all that. I went to one of those. And then probably for the last couple of months I've been going along to the meeting with my mum because she's the only one who's still a Jehovah's Witness, and I felt a bit, excuse me a minute. I felt a little bit like, well, Jehovah supported me and I feel he supported me, so I should go along to the meeting, at least on a Sunday, and, you know, be with my mum. So I have actually been going for the last couple of months.
Okay, and so you've been out, you know, since you were 17, so that's some time. That's quite a bit of time you were away. Have you gone and researched the beliefs and well, the history of the witnesses? Are you thinking that Jehovah's Witnesses are right on a lot of their doctrines still? Or, I mean, it doesn't sound like you want to be a witness anymore, but yet you're going to the meetings maybe for your mother?
That's right. To be honest, probably up till last week, I was still thinking about, oh, you know, should I go back, go regularly and everything. And well, so much has gone on since the end of this court case, and I've seen so much lying, so many underhanded things go on, and I guess the more I've read things on Facebook and on Twitter, the more it's made me realise this is not for me. Doesn't mean I can't believe in God, but I wouldn't want to be associated with a religion that's got lying and all that sort of thing. Oh, thank you. Got a drink.
Yay, good. So you hit the nail on the head, Ciaran. An organization that's associated with lying, revising its history. It's really a global business with religion as its front door. And that's something that I feel. You don't have to agree with me. That's okay. We all have our own take on it. But a lot of us that have left the witnesses have kind of come to that conclusion.
I think so. It's something that I never thought about before, but it certainly does appear that way. Like I say, I've only ever thought about on a local level, if you like. So I thought, yeah, the elders, and it's the Barry congregation, it's the elders. But at the end of the day, they've only been appointed by the higher governing body, and it's how the organisation is run that's the problem. It isn't really just on a local level.
You're right. It's not a local problem. It's a systemic problem. The entire JW culture and mindset, you know, the judging, the conditional love. We will love you if you do everything that you're supposed to do. And we will love you if you're in our club. But the moment you don't go to our club anymore, we're going to drop you.
That's right. And the moment you ask a question, or if you show a little hint of doubt in what they believe in, then you're out, or you're branded an apostate, or they say that you're crazy, so that nobody else will take any notice of you then. And again, that seems to be a pattern that goes on worldwide. That's not just particular to my old congregation.
It's true. It's true. It sounds like the more you talk about this, you're kind of convincing yourself and, you know, growing and learning and opening your mind and cleaning out that watchtower thinking, even right now while we're talking.
Yeah, this, well, like I say, once the case was over, I was still quite focused on the fact I was going to still be going to the meetings with my mum. It's only since the case is finished and I've really thought about it. I've spoken to lots of people now from all over the world, and most of all, I think it's hearing the lies that have been told on a local level has made me think, why would I want to be involved with an organisation that's full of hypocrisy, liars? You know, and I've said this to my mum, I think I just can't do it. I just don't want to do it. You know, it's, I guess I can't get my head around it, really. That's the problem. I can't understand, because I grew up thinking all Jehovah's Witnesses are honest. They all tell the truth. None of them are going to lie. And then, of course, I get to court, and then, because my auntie's still a Jehovah's Witness, she's a regular pioneer, and then she gets on the stand and lies for my uncle, and then goes back to her Kingdom Hall and carries on as normal.
Whoa, she's
and
a
you
character witness?
She was a witness for him, yes.
Oh.
Obviously, she's his wife, so she was a witness for him. And yeah, so I just think, oh no, what are you doing? How can you say you love Jehovah, swear on the Bible, and then lie? I just don't understand it. I don't get it.
Well,
because I wouldn't do that, and I'm the one who's disfellowshipped and supposedly not a Christian anymore.
Yeah. Most people would look at your aunt and say that what she did was a despicable thing by their, estimation. And then certainly the courts ruling and finding this creature guilty of all these crimes, it exonerates you and indicts her and anybody else that's in Camp Sewell. Camp Sewer is what we should call it.
That's what I'm waiting to find out. I'm waiting to find out what's going to happen to her, because I think the elders should be taking action against her and others, and that's why it's sort of like a waiting game now, because something's got to be done. You can't have a regular pioneer who lies. You just can't.
But you know what, Ciaran, as long as she goes to the club and as long as she's an exemplary pioneer, it's unfortunate, but I seriously doubt anything's going to happen to her. She's just going to get pats on the back from the friends for her going through this difficult situation. And remember, the witnesses will say, well, one imperfect person doesn't change the fact that we're in the truth. I won't say the other word. I'll only say the truth.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I've made it quite clear to the elders, because I think I said, didn't I, that we had elders attending court every day as well, who were assigned by the Bethel, who were there every day listening to everything that went on, I think with a view to doing an investigation when court finished. So I've told them what I want to see happen now. Whether I'll get it, I don't know, but they need to do something.
Yeah, they do. They do. Now, just to shift gears a little bit, Ciaran, have you been able to be a friend and a mentor to some of this man's other abuse survivors, some of the other folks that were attacked by him? Do you have a good relationship with them and their family?
Well, I've got to say that I think it definitely was a team effort, because if it had just been me and him, I wouldn't have got the conviction. If it had just been one of them and him, we were all able to support each other, because two of us were children and two of us were adults. So the two children supported each other's accounts, and so did the two adults. So it's been, I think the fact we've all been there for each other made a massive difference to the case. And yeah, we've all been really supportive to each other. This wouldn't have happened if it hadn't have been for the one in particular victim who helped me right at the start. So yeah, it's definitely been a team effort.
Well, good for them. And like I said, hopefully you can stay in touch and develop friendships with them that can, last the rest of your lives, because by supporting one another and by working for change and speaking out, it's very healing, and it's also helping others.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we are like that. Two of us have remained friends over the last 20 odd years. But yeah, it's a strange thing, because the friendship is created originally from being Jehovah's Witnesses, but then it's created from being victims, and then you've got another friendship of being vindicated victims, if you like. So yeah, we've all been through the same process together, so it's quite a unique thing, and I'm sure it means we'll be friends forever.
Oh, I want to be brave Ciaran Morgan's friend too. Okay, all right. I'm being facetious, but I do want to be your friend. Now, let me ask you this, Ciaran. What is your goal for the future? Because you said at the end of the article, Ciaran Jones, the reporter, quoted you as saying, they're going to have to do something, that is Watchtower. I'm not going to let this go.
No, that's right, I'm not. And I guess it's a difficult one because I'm hesitant to say in public what my plan is, if you know what I mean, because I don't trust the organisation. That's the problem. And I think I don't want to say too much about what I'm going to do because I don't want anyone being prepared. However, it's no secret that there's a lot of things that need to be changed within the society with their policies. You know, disfellowshipping somebody for any sort of sexual offence and then not telling the congregation why they've been disfellowshipped, I think that is absolutely ridiculous. And that's one of the things that needs to be changed. And then the more I've thought about it, the more I've thought about how I was treated, and it's made me think, yeah, that's got to change as well. And it always comes across like they've just got no idea what they're talking about. Every time I hear them or see them make a statement about it, it's always the same sort of party line, and it just never makes any sense to me at all. It's like they've learned nothing.
Well, and like any big company, they're just trying to do damage control. They're just trying to protect their assets, if you know what I mean. And it's terrible, but they're looking out for their bottom line, which is money.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And I think prior to this, it would have been difficult for me to understand that because I was always raised to think the best of them, and you think that the organisation are up there, don't you? You think that the governing body are, are the be all and end all of the whole thing, but then you do start to think, well, hang on a minute, there's something not quite right in an organisation who defends and hides pedophiles, which is inevitably what they're doing. That's the only way I can describe it.
It is. It is. So I understand what you're saying. You do have some thoughts and goals as to how you want to proceed with your own activism, but you want to keep your cards close to your vest right now because you've got to be ready to do it. Maybe you'll have a website, maybe you'll have a YouTube channel, or we can follow you on Twitter, those sorts of things. But when you're ready, I'm sure you'll do more, and you've already done a lot, and that's very much appreciated by.
Yeah, I've already learned how to use Twitter because I was on Twitter, but I hadn't used it very much. So I had one of the other victims, funnily enough, she helped me to figure out Twitter. So every day now I'm getting more and more used to that, and I'm getting more and more followers. That's really what I've been concentrating on for now, is trying to build up followers on there, and sharing my story on there and trying to get the word spread that way. And I'm really into Twitter now. It's a brilliant tool, isn't it, Twitter?
Yay.
But the whole internet is.
Well, I tell you what, Ciaran, I'll put up your Twitter, name on screen, and hopefully that this will get more people to, to follow you on Twitter and keep an eye out for your, for your next bit of news and what you're doing.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Excellent, excellent. So I'm just really appreciative of you talking about this matter. It's a difficult thing to talk about, but here you are, and you're going to help a lot of people just from this, and from what has already happened. You've helped a lot of people, and I think all of us can get the word out just to the regular population of the world that this little religion, this little Jehovah's Witness religion, isn't so innocent and benign, but it's a lot more dangerous to many of us.
Yeah, that's the important thing. I think the more people who come forward, the bigger voice we've all got then all together, because I thought it was just me. now that I've spoken to a couple of people and I've been contacted by a couple of people who have had similar experiences to me, now I know it's me and it's that girl and it's that lady and that lady. But the more people who start saying, well, we're not having this anymore, we're not putting up with it anymore, something's got to change, then I'm hoping the organisation will have no choice, but they'll have to do something about it.
Yeah, they're going to have to do something about it. And we're going to put social pressure, hopefully media pressure, hopefully political pressure upon this company to change its policies. Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, yes, a global corporation. Actually, there's over 100 corporations with the name Watchtower that are all in this complicated, knotted up structure, so that nobody knows where the money's going. Nobody knows who's dipping into their $1 billion. All we know is the governing body jet set around the world and are treated like gods. We know that.
But this is the thing, isn't it? This is why it's rotten to the very core, and it goes right to the top, goes right to the governing body.
Wow. All right. Well, Ciaran, thank you so much for the interview, and hopefully we can catch up with you again after you've made some big splash or some big announcement or are doing the next phase of your life, and you can come back and we can talk some more.
Yeah, I would love that. I'll keep in touch. I'm speaking to Ciaran tomorrow, and we're gonna just have a chat about maybe thinking about doing some more feature articles and stuff. So yeah, I'll let you know how we get on and what's happening.
Oh, I love it. Please tell Ciaran that I appreciate his articles so much. And I mean, he probably has been messaged a lot by former witnesses, but his reporting on this has been spot on and so important. Thank you, Ciaran Jones.
When this interview goes out, I'll try and link him into it if I can, so that he can see it as well, because he'll appreciate that, I'm sure.
Excellent.
But I will just say as well, apart from his reporting, he was a lovely guy as well. Really great with all of us. He was there every day without fail. It was they couldn't have picked a better journalist to do it.
Yes, and Wales Online gets some credit for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were brilliant.
Outstanding. Well, enjoy that conversation with Ciaran, and we look forward to talking with you again, brave Ciaran Morgan.
Lovely. Okay.
Nice chatting with you.
The order is rapidly fading, for the times they are a-changing.